Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where the words spoken were friendly, yet a primal instinct within you whispered a warning? That subtle unease, an intuition suggesting a darker truth behind a seemingly genuine smile? Carl Jung, a profound explorer of the human psyche, introduced us to a fundamental concept, the shadow. This is the concealed part of ourselves we often deny, yet it frequently reveals itself in how we interact with others. When feelings like hatred, envy, or resentment fester, people tend to hide them, but never entirely. The signs are there, subtle yet unmistakable. Today, I'll reveal 8 undeniable indicators that someone close to you might harbor hostile feelings, even as they meticulously try to conceal them. Be warned, sign number 8 is the most insidious of all and could completely shift your perspective on certain people. 1. Contempt disguised as irony. Hidden hostility rarely announces itself with a fanfare. Instead, some individuals prefer to express it through sarcastic remarks, subtle digs, or biting irony. They'll target your vulnerabilities, things they know strike a sensitive chord. When you try to address it, they'll casually dismiss your feelings with phrases like, "Oh, I was just joking, don't be so sensitive," or "You can't take a joke." This behavior is particularly cunning because it leaves you feeling unsettled and devalued, while they maintain the illusion of innocent jest. In reality, a consistent pattern of ironic jabs at your expense is a glaring red flag of underlying contempt. If their jokes consistently leave you feeling humiliated or diminished, and especially if they revisit the same sensitive topics repeatedly, it's far more than just humor. It's a symptom of repressed hostility. Jung believed that our personal shadow subtly, almost involuntarily, projects onto others. When someone consistently uses irony to attack aspects of your personality, they are, in essence, revealing a part of themselves they cannot accept. Number 2. Hidden sabotage. When someone close to you feels threatened by your accomplishments or personal growth, they might resort to subtle sabotage. This isn't about direct confrontation. It's a more insidious approach. It manifests as misleading advice, accidental miscommunications, or seemingly minor oversights that, when accumulated, systematically hinder your progress. Imagine a friend who forgets to share crucial information, omits key details, or inadvertently complicates your tasks. These aren't necessarily absent-minded lapses. If these incidents recur, consistently surfacing at critical junctures, it's time to question their coincidental nature. Observing the consistency of these behaviors provides insight into whether there's an unconscious desire to undermine you. Jung suggested that when individuals lack the courage to confront their own shortcomings, they might unconsciously project their frustration onto others, hindering them to avoid feeling inferior themselves. Number 3. Silent competition. Some people simply cannot stomach your successes without feeling an overwhelming urge to outdo you. Every victory you celebrate is met with an attempt to redirect the spotlight onto themselves or to downplay your achievement. Share exciting news, and instead of genuine congratulations, you might hear a quick shift to something about their life. Announce a personal triumph, and they're quick to interject with how they've achieved something similar, or even better. This unspoken yet palpable competition often springs from profound insecurities. Those who engage in it struggle to see you shine because your light reflects their own perceived inadequacies. If nearly every conversation with this person transforms into a subtle contest, there's likely a wellspring of unexpressed resentment bubbling beneath the surface. Jung proposed that shadow projection leads people to perceive in others the very qualities they struggle to cultivate within themselves. Consequently, those who feel inadequate will try to diminish you or compete with you to avoid confronting their own feelings of insufficiency. 4. Superficial support. Individuals who secretly harbor negative feelings towards you often mask them with a veneer of superficial support. When you genuinely need assistance, they'll minimize your problem or conjure excuses to be absent. When you achieve something significant, their enthusiasm will feel forced or entirely absent. This attitude becomes particularly evident during pivotal moments in your life. If you notice that someone close to you is consistently unavailable during your important junctures or reacts with indifference to your triumphs, their feelings might not be genuinely positive. The absence of true support can be challenging to pinpoint initially, but it becomes glaringly apparent over time by observing their reactions to your periods of success or struggle. Jung spoke of ego dissociation as a mechanism that can lead to emotional detachment from others, manifesting as coldness and an inability to genuinely support those around them. Number 5. Control, disguised as caring. Some individuals attempt to dominate your life under the guise of genuine concern. They dictate your choices, criticize your decisions, and sow seeds of doubt about your capabilities. Their true aim isn't to empower you, but to foster a sense of dependence. This form of control can be particularly difficult to recognize because it's often cloaked in loving advice and apparent solicitude. A crucial indicator is how you feel after receiving their guidance. If you consistently feel more insecure and less confident rather than empowered, you might be a target of manipulation. Jung argued that the compulsion to control others often originates from a deep-seated fear of internal chaos. People who cannot manage their own uncertainties may attempt to govern the lives of others as a way to avoid confronting their own emotional instability. Number 6. Spreading criticism and gossip. Those who harbor negative feelings rarely express them directly. Instead, they prefer to disseminate criticism and distorted information about you to others. This behavior is particularly insidious because it impacts you indirectly, often without your immediate awareness, until you begin to feel the consequences. If you observe subtle shifts in the attitudes of those around you without a clear explanation, if friends or colleagues suddenly seem to avoid you or become colder, it's possible someone is actively spreading negative narratives about you. False or exaggerated rumors are potent tools in the hands of those holding grudges as they erode your reputation and gradually isolate your public image. Carl Jung explained that the impulse to discredit others is often an unconscious attempt to project one's own insecurities and frailties onto them. Essentially, those who speak ill of you are often revealing more about themselves than about you. 7. Lack of joy in your successes. People who genuinely care about you celebrate your milestones. They offer unwavering support during your struggles and rejoice in your victories, viewing your success as a positive and rewarding experience. Conversely, those harboring grudges struggle to mask their annoyance. You can identify them by their cold reactions, abrupt changes of subject, or attempts to diminish your accomplishments. If you share a triumph and they respond with a detached, "Oh, that's great," or immediately pivot the conversation back to themselves, they may be grappling with envy or poorly managed competitive feelings. Jung explained that an inability to genuinely rejoice for others often reveals an unresolved internal conflict, where the success of others serves as a painful reminder of one's own shortcomings. This occurs because witnessing your achievements highlights what they haven't been able to accomplish. Such individuals often try to minimize your successes with phrases like, "Well, that's not really that important," or "I did something similar a while ago," or "You really should have done better." These aren't just opinions, they are indicators of a latent impatience. If someone around you struggles to celebrate your victories and instead shows signs of annoyance, it's highly probable that their true feelings are very different from what they outwardly portray. 8. Non-verbal language and hidden details. Hidden animosity often manifests in the most subtle nuances, expressed not through words but through involuntary gestures and signals. A fleeting glance that betrays them, a strained smile that doesn't quite reach their eyes, a sudden shift in expression, or an uncomfortable silence can speak volumes more than any spoken word. Many attempt to conceal their true feelings, but the body consistently betrays our deepest emotions. If someone pretends to appreciate you but harbors hostility, you'll notice it in these subtle cues. Their hands stiffening when you discuss a success, a slight change in vocal tone when they offer a compliment, or an aversion to eye contact at key moments. Jung maintained that the body and the unconscious never lie. Even when someone consciously tries to hide their feelings, nonverbal language will inevitably expose them. This is because while the conscious mind can erect a facade, the body responds to authentic emotions. If you sense tension, discomfort, or an inexplicable coldness in a person, trust your instincts. You might have picked up on a signal your conscious mind is struggling to rationalize. Recognizing these signals requires keen attention and sensitivity. Words can be deceptive, but body language and minute details consistently unveil the truth. Now that you're aware of these subtle yet significant signs, how will you apply this knowledge? Will you observe your relationships with a newfound clarity, seeking out these hidden truths? Or will you empower yourself to address the discomfort that arises, fostering healthier and more authentic connections in your life?